They call them wet scrubbers, the pollution control devices used by the phosphate industry to capture fluoride gases produced in the production of commercial fertilizer. In the past, when the industry let these gases escape, vegetation became scorched, crops destroyed, and cattle crippled. Today, with the development of sophisticated air pollution control technology, less of the fluoride escapes into the atmosphere, and the type of pollution that threatened the survival of some communities in the 1950s and 60s is but a thing of the past, at least in the U.S. and other wealthy countries. However, the impacts of the industry's fluoride emissions are still being felt, although more subtly, by millions of people who for the most part do not live anywhere near a phosphate plant. That's because after being captured in the scrubbers, the fluoride acid, hydrofluorosilicic acid, a classified hazardous waste, is barreled up and sold, unrefined, to communities across the country. Communities add hydrofluorosilicic acid to their water supplies as the primary fluoride chemical for water fluoridation. Even if you don't live in a community where fluoride is added to the water, you're still getting a high dose of it through cereal, soda, juice, beer, and any other processed food and drink manufactured with fluoridated water. Fluoride has been and remains to this day one of the largest liabilities of the phosphate industry. The source of the problem lies in the fact that raw phosphate ore contains high concentrations of fluoride, usually between 20,000 and 40,000 parts per million, equivalent to 2 to 4% of the ore. When this ore is processed into water-soluble phosphate via the addition of sulfuric acid, the fluoride content of the ore is vaporized into the air, forming highly toxic gaseous compounds, hydrogen fluoride and silicon tetrafluoride. In the past, when the industry had little, if any, pollution control, the fluoride gases were frequently emitted in large volumes into the surrounding communities, causing serious environmental damage. In Polk County, Florida, the creation of multiple phosphate plants in the 1940s caused damage to nearly 25,000 acres of citrus groves and, quote, mass fluoride poisoning, unquote, of cattle. It estimated that as a result of the fluoride contamination, the cattle population of Polk County dropped 30,000 head between 1953 and 1960, and an estimated 150,000 acres of cattle land were abandoned. Damage to vegetation and livestock caused by fluoride emissions from large industry has resulted, as one might expect, in a great deal of expensive litigation. In 1983, Dr. Leonard Weinstein of Cornell University stated that certainly there had been more litigation on alleged damage to agriculture by fluoride than all other pollutants combined. While Weinstein was referring to fluoride pollution in general, his comments give an indication of a problem facing the phosphate industry, one of the most notorious emitters of fluoride in the early days. So too does an estimate from Dr. Ewan Groth, currently a senior scientist at Consumers Union. According to an article written by Groth, fluoride pollution between the years 1957 to 1968, quote, was responsible for more damage claims against industry than all 20 nationally monitored air pollutants combined. According to Hodge and Smith in 1977, the primary reason for the litigation against fluoride emitters was the, quote, painful, economic, disastrous, debilitating disease that fluoride causes to livestock. Lilly in 1970 said, quote, airborne fluorides have caused more worldwide damage to domestic animals than any other air pollutant. Due to the inevitable liabilities that fluoride pollution presented, and to the increasingly stringent set of environmental regulations, the phosphate industry began cleaning up its act. As noted by Irving Bellick, a chemist at the U.S. Public Health Service, quote, in the manufacture of superphosphate fertilizer, phosphate rock is acidulated with sulfuric acid, and the fluoride content of the rock evolves as volatile silicofluorides. In the past, much of this volatile material was vented to the atmosphere, contributing heavily to pollution of the air and the land surrounding the manufacturing site. As awareness of the pollution problem increased, scrubbers were added to strip particulate and gaseous compounds from the waste gas. Considering the great demand among big industry for fluoride chemicals as a material used in a wide variety of commercial products and industrial processes, the phosphate industry could have made quite a handsome profit selling its fluoride